thank you for stopping by. It is quite a time, isn't it? Well, I have been trying to get a little bit organized with a moderate amount of success, as I'm sure all of you are trying to do that also. But I just wanted to spend some time with you today, and I thought we'd do a little stitch along, not stitch along, but a stitch with me. And because I am ready to dive in. I'm ready to dive in because I have a finish and a actually fully finished item. Now, as all of you know, many of the designers have been posting on social media free charts to embrace this time with love, kindness, and calm. And so, like many of you, I printed a lot of them out until I started freaking out about my printer ink. And we are one of the shelter-in-place states, and so not going out much for anything but essential pharmacy, grocery stores, although now they are asking us nationwide not to even do that. So we're kind of staying tight and close to home. But I do have a fully finished item to show you. Look at me, aren't I a rock star? I'm a rock star. And I took advantage of the inspiration of not only my girlfriend SamBrie Stitches, who her finishes, she's always finishing something. To do a sal with her is a tough one because she's going to get it done fast. But she promised me she wouldn't finish the Search the Sky. I wonder if she's finished it. I don't think so. But also Java Girl Stitches. Her last video, her she shed. Her she shed is really awesome. But what she is doing is repurposing things in her house to fully finish. And I don't have a stockpile of items to fully finish something. But I did buy a few items that were in a bag. And so I dug around and I found this little birdhouse stand. And I got this birdhouse stand at my very favorite quilt shop, the Old World Quilt Shop in Cave Creek. And all of these things that I hopefully am talking about, I will put the link below. Hopefully I'll put the link below in the description. So this little thing was, because this is just a little clip and you could change it out, with wool applique or anything, but I'm using it for my cross stitch, and it's by my front door. So this is from the Old World Quilt Shop. Birdhouse frame. Isn't that adorable? And I'm so proud of myself. I'm so proud of myself. I couldn't... I was taking care of myself by stitching this particular piece. I had a need to hunker down and stitch one item to completion. And I wanted it to be one of those free designs that was made to help us pass through this period in our lives. And I chose this one right away. It's from Notforgotten Farms, and you go on her blog to get the chart for this. But I could not concentrate on anything else till this is done. And it's like amazing, because now that this is done, I am ready to work through my whips. And I feel that desire and excitement. So I don't know whether some of you feel the same way, but sometimes when I get anxious, I need to totally engage my mind and soul on something that I could put my teeth into, and it was this particular chart. And I lucked out because I had only a little bit of black rickrack, and I was trying to sew it on, and I was going, this is such a pain. And then I remembered that Becca from SamBrie Stitches, she kind of glues everything, and so I got the glue out, and I just glued, and it worked. It worked. So one more little peek. Isn't that the cutest? Yeah, I feel quite proud. And it has been a very interesting few days for sure. 2 weeks, going on 3 weeks of staying close. But every time I think I'm going to have a meltdown, I think of my mother, because when she came to the States, it was 9 years before she actually physically saw her mother again. 9 years. So every time I think I'm going to whine about my grandsons who I get to see on FaceTime, I think of my mom, and I think, oh, I'm the same gene pool. I can be strong about this. I can be strong. But I really feel for everyone, because we get to grieve. We get to grieve about it. And it's not the same. And there are times that I want to pout. No fair! But, oh well. It is projected to be a much nicer week in the next few days, and I am all for it. I think that will be a huge change in my my mind space. It's a little bit cloudy. There's some blue sky out there. There's snow. The snow level is quite low, although there's no snow in town. So that's good. So you can go for a walk and not worry about falling on your butt. But, you know, nothing really to complain about. Nothing really to complain about. I did love how I just can't stop laughing about my friend Becky, who said she used to feel guilty about her stash, you know, and she's never going to get done with it in her lifetime, and now it's like, who's the sucker now? Because now she knows she has enough to keep her occupied, but I still have a little bit of that panic about not having enough linen. Yeah. So far I've been able to get all the floss I want, but not having enough linen, of the called for linen. And that's the thing, for me, I'm not experienced enough to like, you know, like stitch all the things, how she'll do a conversion. I'm not there yet. I mean, someday I might get there. I could get there. But I'm not there right now. I'm not comfortable with it. And so I kind of, when I see a pattern, I want the called for fabric and the called for threads. You know, I don't do too much conversions unless I'm backed up against a wall. And so I'm trying to find the fabric for Rack Stack by Plum Street, and it's called Mermaid's Brew, and I can't find it anywhere. I mean, when you think that you're searching the World Wide Web, that you should be able to find it, it's not out there. And so it might mean that I have to do a conversion, but I can't do a conversion on the internet because I don't get the photography makes the color difference different. It's kind of like in quilting, you actually want to feel and touch the fabric. And it's very hard for me to buy it on the internet unless I've already physically seen it. So there goes the quandary, you know. So I am still hunting for it, and I might, what I might end up doing, and if you are lucky enough to have an LNS that you totally trust, that's a gift, because what I might end up doing is calling Janine up at Acorns and Threads and saying, I can't find the mermaid brew anywhere, and if you don't have that, can you pick something out similar that will look good? And then I'll be okay with it, because she has impeccable taste. And all you have to do with her is call up the shop and leave a message on her answering machine, because she's a one-woman shop now. It's like Kindred Stitcher, you know, one-woman shop now. And so she'll get to that message as soon as possible, but she will get to it and call you back and talk to you about it. And that's a wonderful thing in this community of designers and shop owners, is they want to stay in business, and we need to help them in some way, as much as we possibly can. So what have I have haul. I have haul. I have to show you. I didn't even open it. I don't even know what it is. I don't even know what it is, because I've been in somewhat of a panic this week. I don't need to explain that. And so I've not been like going, you know, bat crazy, but I have been regularly, at least, I mean, I have to be really, really careful, because wish carts are filled all over the internet. And so, you know, I'm just doing it for emotional feeling, not necessarily that I need it. But as you know, if you've been with me, in a state of panic, I accidentally bought a wish list, and oh my gosh, that's not pretty. So let's see what's in here. Let's see what's in here together. Look at this beautiful, beautiful tissue paper. Do some of you know where this came from? I don't even know where this came from. So, I think my half birthday is coming up. See, that's the problem. That book, I haven't found it yet. My, you know, my calendar book that I was keeping track of what I stitched and important events, I can't find it anywhere. And I know that we had to pack up and hit the road in like an emergent panic mode in an hour and a half to get home. And I don't know what happened to that book. I'm going to have to still keep looking around. I think I have pretty much unpacked everything, but I have not seen it. But now I've got to figure out again, because I remember I marked when my half birthday is, and I believe it's coming up. Oh, this is so, I hate ripping this paper. I love the sound of crinkling. It means something good is coming. Do you see what it is? It's linen. Picture this plus 28 count doubloon. Oh, that is just lovely. Absolutely lovely. See, I love that modeling on there. Oh. Wow. I almost feel giddy. I almost feel giddy. Oh, and who's this from? Oh, the Cottage Needle. Happy spring. I hope that your new purchase is making you smile right now. Please find attached one of my favorite needles that I call the Baby Bowen. It is a size 28. Oh, it's got to be in here someplace, huh? Oh, and I get a coupon. Oh, here's the needle. I'm going, where's the needle? Okay, here's the needle. So I get a coupon code below for my next order. Okay, so I can't just throw this thing away because I'm sure there's a next order. This is absolutely lovely. Okay. So that's fun. And then I called Janine up and I said, I left a message. I must have this. I need this. And I need it kitted. Because I was afraid. So there it is. Look at that, Coffee First. Ah. But Coffee First by Brenda Gervais. And then the threads. And I know that she told me oh, see, you gotta love a shop owner like this. She told me that she didn't have one of the called for threads. So she sent what she had, which are absolutely lovely. But look at this note. Hi, Anna. The wood trail is just used for her shoes. 8 stitches, for heaven's sakes. My recommendation is pick something from your stash. She's forcing me outside my box. Thank you, Janine. I love the realness of her. I mean, really. Oh my God, 8 stitches. I love it. And the fabric is Newcastle 40 count light mocha. That's very pretty. That is very pretty. Yeah, so that's I think that's going to be a sooner than later. Sooner than later. You know, and this is why I love that shop. I'll be linking that down below also in the description. So I have 2 new things. And then I wanted to share with you a new decor item that I have. You know, I was watching Java Girl and how, you know, she's in Las Vegas. And literally when we were bombing through Las Vegas to get home, it was closed. Yeah, I'm not kidding you. It was very, very eerie. The Strip, all the casinos were closed. You know, Joann's, Hobby Lobbies, Michael's, all those shops are closed. Everything non-essential was closed, which is a very bizarre thing to see in Las Vegas. But she was bemoaning the fact that she could not find her items that she, how she creates. And if you go to her channel, you will see how adorable she finishes things. So she's been repurposing things from other parts of the house. She'll find a tray in a bathroom and repurpose it and turn out these absolutely gorgeous finishes. So I might be able to look, but I'm not that creative. I mean, the bottom line is, I'm a, what do you call that? When I see something, that's why I love Pinterest. When I see Pinterest, something, I go, oh, I can make that. But to create it totally from scratch, it's not my thing. So when she talked about taking trays and creating decor items, I thought about this idea. I had this beautiful basket, and I had found a drawer full of these half rolls of toilet paper, or not even half rolls. There are barely any left. And this is what happened. It's in the guest bathroom, because when you have guests coming over, you can't leave a toilet paper roll that little on there, because what if they make a big boom boom and they need more than that, and they have to go looking through your cabinets to put a new one on. So we always take, you know, those robocalls are driving me nuts. We always take the big roll off, I mean the little roll off, and put a big roll on when we are going to have guests over. And so, oh, that's so irritating. So, you know, there's an arrest warrant for me in New Mexico. I've never even been to New Mexico. So where was I? Oh yeah, so we'll put a fresh roll on and throw this little roll in a drawer. So it was totally filled with these little rolls. But these are now precious items. So I decided to display them in this beautiful basket in my guest bathroom. You know, like little gifts or something. Yeah, because look at, you know, I saw this thing on Facebook that said, someone TP'd my house and now it's worth $875,000. You gotta love it. So let's do a little stitch with me. Just a little one, not very long. I know you got other things to do, but I'm ready to dive into my lips, so that maybe the next time I can have a lip parade. And I forgot to tell you, I know many of you have asked about this lamp, and I could not, the name is not anywhere on there. So I looked up on what I had bought, because I knew I had bought it from Amazon. And it's a Britec lamp. And I love it, because I can hang my floss on it. And this is how I store my floss, as you can see. They're in bags. With the specialty threads, I have them grouped by the company they come from, and then the colors are, then that company is alphabetical on a ring. And then the DMC is numerical in the hundreds, so 100, 200, 300, and then numerical. And so when I kit up a project, I put it on a separate ring and leave it with the project bag that it's in. And then when I'm done, I refile it back up in there. And I got that rack on sale at one of the craft stores. And it's a metal, just a metal grate. And so all of my needle minders are magnetic, and so they're displayed up there. Yeah, so that's nice. But today I am going to start off with the suffragette because it's about time. And this is in my stitch toolbox. Anna Collado made this bag. Isn't it adorable? Yeah. So that's what we're going to stitch a little bit today. Yeah, the stitching with sisterlies. Cheryl and Colleen, they totally crack me up. This is their salve that they're doing. I can't tell you how good it is to get back into my whips. My husband read a great article because I was getting a little bit stressed about getting things done. And he read an article that said, just because you're quarantined doesn't mean you suddenly have to be efficient. You should just live your life how you want to live it, you know. And so I think that's good advice, because I was starting to feel some stress about, why haven't I cleaned the garage totally? Why haven't I organized everything in my beehive? And so I liked that. Kombucha, ginger, turmeric. I was watching this morning Stitching by the Lake. I just like watching her. You know, it's been somewhat challenging to catch up on all the floss tubes, because everyone's been so good about making, you know, I mean, I've been doing more than I would normally, mainly because I have the internet, the Wi-Fi ability to upload, where I didn't when we were down in Tucson. We had a hotspot, but boy, 2 videos used up that hotspot. So, but I have been trying to catch up on my floss tubes. My subscription is, let's see, coming up is Off the Grid Needle Arts. I always watch The Last Homely House. Brenda and the Serial Starter. I have loved their, not that I would do it, but because they do these big charts, but I have liked the title of What Chart Would You Take to a Desert Island? That totally cracked me up. Yeah. Oh, and Kindred Stitcher. Yeah. See, these are some of my faves. Melanie Watkins. Ooh, the Frozen Crafter had a new one. I've got to watch that. I love her because we sat together and I introduced her to Acorns and Threads when she came down for Fall Fling. Yeah. And then Jan Hicks Creates. Stitching Between the Lines. I see long dog. Oh, these are, I've got to start catching up on some of this. Yeah, it's kind of, it's like having friends over. You know, it's like having friends over. So, have you been baking more? I've been reading where there's been a shortage of flour because people are baking more. That's interesting. We've gone from toilet paper to flour. I know we have been cooking all the time, it seems like. I'm blessed because G is by far the better cook, and he uses spices in a much more creative way than I do, so that is a joint effort. Meals are kind of a joint effort to create, and because of our lifestyle, it's been, yeah, pretty easy. So I finished my mask making. I need to ask my ex-daughter-in-law if she would like some masks, so and I got to do that today, because then I'll make her some. She lives up north. But I sent off all the masks I made, so those should be arriving. And oops, I missed a hole. I have never been so careful with floss as I am now. I am not wasting a bit of floss. And it's interesting because I had bought this box of floss at a garage sale, and it was, you know, not specialty flosses, but there was a whole wad of floss that didn't even have a tag on it, and so I put those all in one bag so that I could see the colors, and so I'm going to use that if I just want to add a little color to something. And then I put the rest of the floss away into, if it was a DMC, but it was interesting because I haven't seen Coats floss in a long time, and there were some of those in there, and they all looked like they were still good. It's starting to get a little darker. G promised me by Wednesday I'd have sunshine. I'm going to be really pouty if I don't get some. I've noticed, this is the thing that I've noticed, is that on the floss tubes, everybody seems not quite in sync with their sals, or their whips, or their homework, or their challenges. And I wonder if part of that is all of the disruption to our life, if we just can't handle one more thing. And now that I've started to get a rhythm, I am ready to get back into my, how I set up my, you know, I just wish I could find that book. I'm going to have to tear apart some. Maybe I tucked it in a project bag. Oh, that's a thought. Maybe I tucked it into a project bag just for transportation. I do know that tomorrow is the day I stitch. And see, I like having that structure again because so much is out of our hands, you know, and I think people are, you know, like there's a lot of people that are not wearing masks or gloves, and you know, that's, I always think about, it's like I told G, I'm not wearing a mask solely to protect myself. I'm wearing a mask to protect the person next to me's family, and the gas station guy's family, and the grocery checker's family. I'm wearing it for the community. But so much is out of our lives, out of our control, that I wonder if we will either become immobile in making choices, or we will be very structured in our choices. I know I shouldn't be licking my thread. Look at all that germs that might be on that thread. Yeah. It's a good thing I don't share my floss. I don't share my floss. But I do so much look forward to the day I can walk into a cross-stitch shop and just walk around and shop, and you know, I just am looking forward to that. So I bet you are too. I bet you are too. The best thing that happened yesterday was we found out from friends that the next season of Kim's Convenience Store is out. Now that is a hoot and a half. That is an absolute hoot and a half. It is filmed in Toronto, Canada. And it is just funnier than all get out. And so we were happy yesterday to see. We're trying not to binge watch it, because that's what happens with Netflix, is you find something, you binge watch it, and all of a sudden you don't have anything else to watch. So we're trying not to binge watch it, but we did watch 2 episodes yesterday. Just makes me laugh out loud. And I was feeling kind of bummed yesterday. I don't know. You know, you just got to give yourself grace. It kind of cycles in and out, and I was just feeling kind of under the weather a bit, you know. Just like wishing I could actually, you know, wishing that life was back to the way it was, but we'll have a new reality, so I'm trying to figure out what that means. But today is a much better day. Much, much better day. We got the top of the A. Up to the top of the A. Okay, I was making sure I didn't make a mistake there. love the fact that, you know, my library, I can download books on, you know, I do that a lot. And so my book group, our book is called, my grandmother said to say she's sorry. And I loved that book when I read it a couple of years ago. But it was this month's book choice, and we're doing book group on Zoom, which is a whole lot of fun. And so I'm reading it again, and it's just as enjoyable this time around as it was the last time. So I'm liking it. Well, I think I should let you go. I don't want to. I want to, you know, there's times that I wish this camera could, I can sometimes almost hear an answer to my questions, but it's sometimes I wish I could have a conversation that way with all of you, because truly all of you have been such a support to me. The comments and even the thumbs up, if you don't want to leave a comment, just knowing that that you have a connection to someone outside these four walls is such a great feeling. And that's why I try really hard to answer the comments in some way. But let me tell you, what is going on now in the greater world is affecting the way things run. So social media is having some hiccups that weren't there a week ago. And most likely, the only thing I can figure out is that it has something to do with there's no one there. You know, they're having to distance themselves and rotate. So the way processes work are not working the same way. And so for whatever reason this week, because you know I run 2 channels. I run Stitch Roadies and I run Quilt Roadies. And it has always functioned from the get-go where I could switch between the 2 channels and I could answer comments. I can no longer do that. For whatever reason, it stopped. And I saw a notice on top of one of the channels that said, due to the coronavirus and social distancing, our processes aren't being monitored as much or something. And I thought, wow, that's really amazing. So, but lucky for us, because we have, we function off of 2 different laptops. G's laptop somehow is stuck on Quilt Roadies, and my laptop is stuck on Stitch Roadies. So whereas we used to be able to load our videos from one laptop, whether they went to one or the other, now we can't. We have to load the Quilt Roadie videos on his laptop and the Stitch Roadie videos on my laptop. It's the weirdest thing. And then to answer comments, I'm not sure what's happening with the comments, because I answer the comments and then the next day I'll go back and I could swear I've already answered those comments and it doesn't show my comment or my response, and I do it again. So I don't know if you guys are getting double comments sometimes, or if I'm not on the right laptop, if the comments are not going to, it's kind of interesting. And it also, on Instagram, because Instagram and Facebook are 2 different platforms, and and not everybody who's with me on Instagram is on Facebook. Some people don't like Facebook, and some people on Facebook don't like Instagram. So I just automatically, when I post something to Instagram, I share it to Facebook. That's just ends up being a double post for some people, but for those who don't cross over, then everybody gets to see it. It doesn't do it anymore. Yeah, last week it stopped. And I noticed because of Woody and Jesse were carrying on up in the beehive, and I was posting on Instagram what they were doing, and then I went to check and saw that that post, even though I clicked share to Facebook, it didn't go. So I had to actually go into Facebook and post the picture. Yeah. Things we took for granted. How easy the world worked. This last week, it's not working the same way. So, well, I'll let you go. That was my little bit of what the heck's going on in this world. It's such a little thing in the long scheme, but I just wanted you to know that I do read every single comment, and I do make an effort to connect to every single comment. And if you are not getting a comment back or a thumbs up or a heart or something like that, know that I do it. I don't know what's happening out there. I'm only in my own little world here. Well, thank you. Thank you for stitching with me. I almost got the A done, but now I'm really excited because I'm going to start working on those. I'm so happy to be back into my motto sampler. I am ready to get that done. Although I want to frame that one, and I think that's going to happen for a while. But in the meantime, I'm going to just be one of those people, which I never thought I would be, that has a pile of finished things that are never FFO'd. That's okay. That's okay. Thank you. Thank you, thank you for hanging out with me. And I hope you're safe. I hope you're stitching. And I hope spring and warm weather come. I can't help it. I just know if the sun came out a little bit more, I'd be happy. You take care.